for college-wide reading, for instance, we are kind of planning some really cool things like talk backs perhaps with people that we wouldn't be able to get otherwise because travel would just be impossible to coordinate, etc. There are some tools that I've been using that I plan to rely on a little bit more so. Like one of them is called Perusall that I really like, which is about kind of social annotation of a reading. And that's something that I actually, I guess, pioneered in the in-person classroom, but I'm really finding that students like it in the online environment because it gives them kind of this sense of community, and they can have conversations with each other kind of in the like in the margin. And so again, it's all about kind of connecting people who may otherwise feel a little bit isolated or disassociated from each other. But really, it's all about, in the beginning of the semester, kind of trying to establish the types of relationships that we would hopefully have in an in-person classroom. The very first day, I usually do like an icebreaker, which, we kind of all bond in how corny it is, right? But so I'm trying to look for ways to streamline that a little bit online because, I don't want someone to have to put together, if they're taking 5 classes, like 5 very basic, like PowerPoint introductions to themselves. But at the same time, we do want to kind of get to know each other as whole people. Starting a semester online and keeping it online the whole semester, it really is about giving those opportunities for students to interact in kind of a moderated setting, right? And so, a lot of discussions and things like that where, I require response posts and I have like a minimum number of words. So it's not just like, hey, good job, or I agree with you, right? There has to be some substance to the kind of interaction between students. So this coming semester, I'm teaching writing about literature and children's literature, right? And it also happens that the college-wide reading theme for the year is disability and ableism, right? So there's a lot of potential there. I was already kind of looking at using Frankenstein in my writing about literature class, right? Because of the connection with disability and ableism. But one of the things that we can really look at too is this idea of isolation, kind of spinning it on its head, not just the physical appearance and the physicality of the monster, right? Because in the actual book, Frankenstein is the doctor, right? But also, his experience in somebody who's almost like a society unto himself is very much something that people can relate to these days, right? As well, one of the kind of myths about disability, and one of the things that has led to this rampant discrimination against people who experience disability is this idea, this misconception that disabilities are contagious, right? That physical conditions are contagious, right? And so for so many centuries, people who experienced disability were isolated because others did not want to engage or perhaps catch what they were experiencing. And so there is very much an intersection between this idea of disability and like illness or contagions and that kind of thing. And unfortunately, again, that's kind of the world we're living in, is that we have to be very, very conscious of how our bodies move through spaces of, sanitation and all of those things. Many, many considerations that we thought were centuries behind us are coming to the forefront again.